Look at your hands. They tremble, not because they are heavy with power, but because they are hollow with fear. You have spent your entire life convincing yourself that your passivity is a virtue. You call it kindness. You call it being the bigger person. You call it peace. But deep down, in the cold, quiet hours of the night, you know the truth. You are not peaceful. You are merely harmless. And there is a world of difference between a man who has his sword sheathed and a man who has no sword at all. To be emotionally reactive is to be a slave. It is to hand the remote control of your internal state to every stranger who crosses your path. A stray comment at work ruins your evening. A look of disapproval from a loved one sends you into a spiral of self-loathing. You are a puppet, and the strings are being pulled by hands you don't even recognize. You react because you have no core. You are a vacuum, waiting for the world to tell you how to feel. This reactivity is a slow-motion suicide. It erodes your dignity. Every time you lose your temper, every time you weep over a minor setback, every time you let someone else's malice dictate your mood, a piece of your soul withers away. You feel the exhaustion in your marrow. It is the fatigue of a man who is constantly on the defensive, waiting for the next blow to land, wondering why he feels so small in a world that seems so loud. You are a raw nerve exposed to the elements. The wind bites, and you flinch. The sun burns, and you cry out. There is no filter between the external event and your internal collapse. This is the diagnosis of the weak. You have mistaken your fragility for sensitivity. You have mistaken your inability to act for a moral choice. But morality requires agency. If you cannot be dangerous, you cannot be truly good. You are simply a victim of your own volatile chemistry. The pain of this existence is the pain of the tethered. You are tied to the opinions of others, to the fluctuations of the market, to the whims of the weather. You are a leaf in a hurricane, convinced that you are flying when you are actually being torn apart. You live in a state of perpetual emergency. Your heart rate is never quite right. Your mind is a cacophony of what-ifs and if-onlys. You are drowning in a shallow pool because you forgot how to stand up. You carry the weight of words you never said and the shame of reactions you couldn't suppress. You are a prisoner in a cell with no bars, held captive by your own inability to sit still in the silence. The world senses this. It smells the blood of your insecurity. It knows that you are easily moved, easily broken, and easily manipulated. This is the rot at the center of the nice man. This is the diagnosis that no one wants to hear. You are a ghost haunting your own life, reacting to shadows that have no substance. You are a vessel of noise in a universe that demands silence. You are broken, not by the world, but by your own lack of teeth. This is the end of your peace. This is the diagnosis of a man who is not yet a monster, but merely a prey animal waiting for the slaughter. You must change, or you will surely be erased forever. The ancient world was a brutal, unforgiving place. To survive it, you didn't need to be nice. You needed to be disciplined. The Stoics, Zeno, Seneca, Epictetus, weren't men who lacked feelings. They were men who had tamed internal storms. They understood that the human heart is a dark, churning ocean, capable of birthing leviathans of rage and serpents of despair. They didn't try to kill the leviathan. They learned to ride it. In the halls of the Roman Empire, Marcus Aurelius sat in his tent, surrounded by the visceral stench of mud and the Cold War. He didn't ignore his primal fear. He looked at it. He dissected it. To the Stoic, an emotion was never an internal command. It was external data. It was a mere impression, a fantasia. Imagine a scout returning from the battlefield. The scout tells the general, "The enemy is coming. We are outnumbered." The scout is the raw emotion. The general is the mind. A weak general hears the news and collapses in terror. He lets the scout's fear become his own. But the Stoic general listens with a predatory focus. He absorbs the information. He thanks the scout for the data. Then, he makes a cold, calculated decision. The emotion is the what. The reason is the how. To be a monster in the Stoic sense is to possess a terrifying capacity for violence, for passion, and for power, but to keep that capacity under the absolute sovereignty of the will. You are not a victim of your biology. You are the architect of your response. When someone insults you, The sting you feel is not a part of you. It is a vibration in the air. It is a chemical flicker in the ancient folds of the brain. You are the observer. The Stoics viewed these feelings as indifference. They are the weather. You do not get angry at the rain for being wet. You do not scream at the wind for blowing cold. You simply acknowledge the state of the world and adjust your heavy cloak. This is the history of the controlled shadow. It is the realization that your impulses are not your identity. They are merely reports from the front lines of your animal nature. If you act on every impulse, you are not a monster. You are a slave, a beast on a leash held by its hormones. The true monster is the man who can feel the hot blood boil in his veins, and yet remain as still as a frozen lake. He sees the rage, he notes its intensity, he measures its utility, and then he decides whether to unleash it or to let it starve. This is the Stoic alchemy, turning the lead of raw, chaotic emotion into the gold of strategic action. They didn't want you to be a good man in the sense of being harmless. They wanted you to be a dangerous, capable man who has his sword sheathed by choice. History remembers the quiet men who could endure the unendurable. Not because they were numb, but because they were fortified. Their minds were obsidian citadels. The emotions were the barbarians at the gates, howling for entry. The Stoic simply looked down, noted their numbers, and went back to his work. You must learn to see your feelings as guests, not masters. They arrive uninvited. They speak loudly. They demand your attention, but they do not own the house. You are the master. You decide who stays. You decide who leaves. You decide who is heard. You decide who is silenced. Now we enter the forge where the blade is tempered. You have acknowledged the shadow that lives within your chest. You have accepted the grim truth that to be harmless is not a virtue, but a pathetic weakness. Now, you must learn to wield that internal darkness through the ultimate discipline, the art of becoming nothing. They expect a storm. They crave your lightning. Instead, you will give them the absolute void. This is the gray rock method. It is the deliberate practice of becoming as uninteresting as a jagged stone on a forgotten path. A monster who does not roar is far more terrifying than one who snarls at every shadow. When you react, you hand over the golden keys to your kingdom. You allow their external chaos to dictate your internal pulse. To be a monster is to own your pulse. Look at them, but do not truly see them. When the provocation begins, your face must become a frozen mask of cold, unyielding granite. No twitch of the lip, no furrow of the brow. Your eyes should be like deep, abandoned wells, dark, still, and reflecting nothing back to the observer. They are searching for a crack in your armor. Do not give them the satisfaction of a single spark. Your words are your ammunition. Do not waste them on those who only seek to bleed you dry for sport. Practice the monosyllabic shield. Yes, no, I see. Okay, these are not just words. They are iron walls. They are the total refusal to participate in their theater of the absurd. Every explanation you offer is a precious gift to your enemy. It is time you stop giving gifts. The predator feeds on your agitation. They are starving for your anger, your tears, or your desperate defense. When you offer total, unwavering indifference, you starve the beast. You become a vast desert where nothing grows, and no one can survive for long. This is the quiet violence of the Stoic. It is the cold realization that your peace is worth more than their public defeat. Inside, the monster is wide awake, watching, and ready for war. But externally, there is only the gray. You are a fortress under heavy siege that refuses to acknowledge the existence of the invaders. Let them scream at the heavy gates. Let them throw their fire. The stone does not feel the heat. The stone simply exists, long after the fire has finally burned itself out into ash. This is not cowardice. It is the highest form of predatory control. You are choosing exactly where to spend the currency of your soul. By becoming a gray rock, you preserve the monster for the battles that actually matter. You are no longer a puppet dancing on a string. You are the silent puppeteer of your own stillness. This is the cure. This is the way of the stone. To master this internal silence is to master the world around you. You walk through the hottest flames of human malice and remain completely untouched, unburned, and unbothered. You are the mountain. You are the abyss. You are the monster who chose to be perfectly still while others unravel in their own pettiness. Become the heavy silence that they cannot break, no matter how hard they strike. This is your ultimate power. This is your dark transformation. This is the absolute end of their control and the glorious beginning of your reign over your own mind. Do not blink. Do not flinch. Stay gray. Stay cold. Stay dangerous. This is how the monster truly wins.